broadcasting live from an undisclosed location in the universe. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live, the show where metaphysics, holistic living, motivation, and inspiration come together to empower your mind, body, and soul. We will dive deep into the realms of metaphysical wisdom, exploring the fascinating connections between mind and matter. Get ready to ignite your inner spark and embrace a journey of self-discovery. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Iggy here, Iggy Garcia Live. Hope you guys can stick around for a little bit. My guest today is Jeremy Felder. We'll get to him here in a second, but I just wanted to welcome everybody back. This is episode 206. That's right, we're moving right along, cruising in, and we're in the, what is it? February? I can't believe it's February. It's February.
It's February.
That's crazy. And it's almost over. We're halfway through the month.
January was a hell of a year.
Oh, man. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Jeremy does. But before we start every show, we just kind of call in the directions. We call in the spirits. We call in our ancestors. And we pray that we have a positive show. So I ask for our ancestors to come be with us. I ask that we're guided. And that the things that need to come out of our mouth come out of our mouth. That we share positivity and love on this show. Just be where we need to be in the moment. And so I want to just welcome everybody to the show. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope that your month is going well. I hope that the beginning of your year is going well, because it's been kind of a wild ride so far for a lot of people. So I want to introduce my friend. This is Jeremy. Jeremy Felder, for those of you. And, he's a metaphysical, holistic practitioner here in our community. A lot of you guys know him for the sound bowls and all of the musical stuff that he does with sound. What's the name of your company?
Safe and Sound.
Safe and Sound
Wellness. Yeah.
Safe and Sound Wellness. So those of you who know him and then there are other people who know you from different
Echo Life. Yeah. From
Echo Life. So Jeremy I've been wanting to get him on the show. He's been a little bit shy. It's okay. It's all right. And it's not for everybody, but I'm here today to interview Jeremy and kind of pick his brain a little bit about what he wants to do. Here coming in this year, we got off with a good start. We're all working hard, and everybody's been going through a lot of stuff, but that's life, man. We go through stuff. But Jeremy, welcome to the show. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live.
Thank you.
I'm glad you could be here with me.
I'm very glad to be here.
And undisclosed location in the universe. We're here, so always going someplace doing a show. So, Jeremy, I want just give us a little intro of who you are.
I'm kind of a guy all about a lot of things, a Renaissance man, probably to the extreme. I do a lot of artistic things, design and fabrication in one aspect of my life, to possibilitarianism, I call it, possibilitarianism, anything's possible, anything can be made. And then I do a lot of holistic and life path things that are from coaching to nutrition to just getting away from all the things weighing us down. What's the most of you look like is something I ask, and how can we find the path to it? So that led me to sound therapy, which really is my passion because of all the amazing things that I've witnessed. There's just it's a duh. It's like nothing
So
else.
what is sound therapy? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people here on our show who may know, but there may be some who don't know what that is.
Sure. The sound therapy is kind of like, sound is the new medicine, right? But it's really the old medicine. And, there's so much that's being discovered all over the place right now with sound healing. In the technical sense, you've heard of sound levitation, maybe, and ways that things can be altered. And you might have heard of cymatics, the visualization of sound, Chladni plates with the sand that makes the patterns at different frequencies. All of these things directly affect your human biome. The biosphere around your body, the field, the electromagnetic field, can be altered with a lot of different waves and frequencies. So what we do is specifically restore your biofield back to its neutral state, which is almost impossible to get to on your own these days with all the Wi-Fi and cell signals and everything. So when you do this, the experience of that has been coined a sound bath, which you may have heard of, because of the fact that it makes you feel like you took a bath and you hadn't in a while. So that's what the sound therapy can create in a very easy way, is a relaxing session to feel, like, I feel restored or rejuvenated from like a bath. But in our case, it's actually scientifically restoring your biofield back to its neutral state. So this actually gives you a profound and deeply peaceful, deeply restful experience that is pretty unmatched. I truly am bold enough to say that it's almost only your deathbed that can bring you this close to this level of tranquility within this period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, our sessions are only an hour, but when we started seeing what would happen if people were so relaxed that they forgot their health problems and then saw that they heal faster, like from this, that's where it was everything that I had to focus on it. So
Okay. So, like, how did you get in? I mean, what was that moment where you just said, I'm going to do this? I mean, is it something that you saw someone else do, or is it something that you just were called to?
Actually, I hadn't seen anybody do it. I started this 3 years ago. We've been doing it more than weekly since then. I have always had what I called unconditional Tuesdays to allow people to see what's possible and show up with just donation-based or free. I really didn't worry about it. I had started a holistics wellness center toward Dublin 4 years ago, and this has kind of developed into what we started as a Tuesday practice. Well, a friend of mine brought me some bowls, and she was a professional singer, and she had a mesmerizing voice and sang along with him, and that's the first exposure of what we were talking about with tritones and hearing effects that the waves would produce on like more of a science geeky level. But then after that, we just had the bowls there, and my son played the bowls for our meditation session that night, and it was just so wonderful and soothing that I knew that, like, okay, I'm getting a set of these. But as a lifelong musician, I kind of dove in too deeply probably to them and really enjoyed what that created in every way. So after I studied it, so the long and short, I was studying all about what I could do with those bowls and other sound modalities while I was doing these weeklies and gaining lots and lots and lots and lots of feedback. So, 2,500 people later, 50 animals later, there's a lot of feedback sculpting what I've created into the most universal and pure as I can get it. And it's pure sound. It's not like we're talking or, insinuating anything, or there's no belief system. It's purely sound. It's like a beautiful musical experience, but different kind of instruments,
Yeah, for those of you who've never experienced this modality that he does with the sound bowls, it's amazing. I'm sure, everybody has their own experience, right? I mean...
Oh, sure, there's lots of them out there. Lots of guys.
But, you have some people who just play the bowls, and then but he puts on like his performance. And I love it because, there's lights on the walls, and there's depictions and pictures and the different bowls and the different frequencies and the little chimes and all the things that he has. I mean, I've been to sound baths, and they're all different, but I've never been to one like yours. Yours is like it's kind of like going to a spiritual rave. You're kind of like really letting go and releasing some stuff.
I was told I was to be in the divine entertainment business.
Okay, there you go.
I think I achieved it somehow.
So let's go back in time a little bit. Tell me a little bit about who you were before you were the sound guy.
Okay, well, I guess the flash life list was lots of highs, lots of lows. I was a traveling musician early on. I had a high education plan. I was kind of a smart kid, and then went on a tour by the time I was 16, and kind of just was already detached from being stationary anywhere. I guess I was traveling a lot. So for me, it was easy to be a local anywhere I was and kind of see people on a sociological view and the way that they gather, as opposed to being rooted in interpersonal relationships that would last more than a week or whatever in my business. So moving along, I eventually got kind of settled in different areas, metropolises and stuff like that. While I was focusing on music, I'd been in a lot of major production organizations that anyone would kill for. I've really lived the music life. I love it. And then my art life came in to where I started fabricating and designing. So that was kind of like the other half, where I was doing a lot of signage work, bending neon, 3D printing, laser cutting, all the things, and then teaching people that everything was possible. Well, I eventually got to this point where I started my own business after I kind of settled down here, I had 2 kids here, and this became my home. I wanted to build community as fast as possible. And I tried to do it through my business, but I was too busy learning how to run a business. So I became an artist at the most extreme sense of like using my business as an outlet, I became quite the workaholic, and but I got to do stuff like make the largest functional piñata in the world, destroy it with a monster truck, and all these fun things that are possibilitarianism in its finest.
Piñata?
Yeah, giant
big
piñata,
giant piñata?
30-foot piñata.
A 30-foot giant
Yep.
piñata.
We had to make it in 3 days for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and pulled it off like I'd done it 20 times. But it was kind of one of those things that I was already dabbling in weird, gigantic things for festivals, and that's pretty much what I started focusing on in my business when it was at its height before the 2020. It was all about making environments. So that brings me to when I started the Holistic Center. I was still a master of making environments, I guess. So that's why my sound baths actually have a projection mapping, immersive galaxy sky or a wave washing over everybody with surround sound. That came from that part of my life. So it's kind of fun to bring it all together.
That's pretty cool. Like, I can't imagine, not to detract from anything, but a 30-foot piñata.
Yep.
That's pretty big. I mean, how you break that?
So the monster truck.
Yeah, the monster truck.
Like a legit 15-foot tall standing monster truck, and then it hit a ramp. It's on Instagram, but they hit it broadside, it blew up, it had 200 pounds of confetti in it. He rigged it up to where the head would just swing afterward on its own tether, and it was just carnage. I loved it, but it was we even made a big remote for it, so it had a big trigger and it had a go-kart wheel, and it was
That's cool.
made out of an outboard motor for a boat.
No, you just need a big piñata singing bowl.
I thought about that. Actually, was going to do that last year.
Oh, okay.
So we've been involved with the we call it the world's largest sound bath efforts down in the Columbus Commons. That'll be up in September 21st this year, I believe.
Nice.
21st. And we have planned to make giant singing bowls, and we'll see if we end up doing it.
That's good. Yeah, I know the bowls. What's the difference between the bowls, the crystal bowls, and then the metallic bowls? Is there any difference there?
Traditionally, Tibetan sound bowls are hand-hammered brass or bronze, and then those are ancient. They go way back. They create polyphonic sounds. So there's no particular set note usually for those. They're more organic and grounding.
Okay.
Very, 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 very powerful. That's not what I specialize on in mine. Mine are the crystal, like almost 100% quartz crystal bowls. And they're more ethereal and more heavenly kind of than the grounding aspect.
So is that why you use the crystal?
For my thing particularly, I do have tandem sessions that I've done with the Tibetan bowls to bring the grounding aspect in it. Okay. Plus, those are really great for using on the body and feeling that. That's an incredible experience. And I have a way that we interlace those in a session, especially for solo one-on-one sessions. Yeah. But for the general use of the practice in public and all that, we stick with the crystal bowls because we kind of want to just let people kind of transcend their world that's so heavy and all that, and I kind of bring them out. Now there's other grounding instruments. I just don't use those bowls for that.
So the crystal bowls, they have frequency, a different type of frequency than the metal ones. That I'm
completely. The crystal bowls can actually be tuned to 0 cents perfect. In our case, of course, the healing 432 hertz tuning than the 440, which is more musical. We make sure everything's 432 in everything that we do because we are directly working clinically with your biofield and we want to resonate with it the best.
So 432, explain to our listeners a little bit.
432 hertz is the natural biofield around the body. And if I work also as a polarity therapist practitioner, and one of the reasons that's favored even by insurance companies and such over Reiki, which is another form of energy work, is because you can prove it very quickly and simply with positive, negative, neutral polarity, like magnetism, right? Okay. Is how polarity therapy actually works. And it's usually light touch or off touch. But if I hold my hand over my neon and I have a gas inside the tube and I can hold my hand 6 inches or whatever above it, I can manipulate the plasma in that tube and you can see it move with me. There's no denying that we impact that. So the energy in your meridian running through your body can easily be manipulated through those energetic. Now, everybody who does energy works knows that's true, quantum touch and that sort of thing. But this is like logically provable. So polarity therapy kind of plays in along with the nature of the same principles of harmonic resonance. The bowls can actually entrain themselves to sing, just like when it's tuned properly. It's going to entrain your body to go back to its prime function, and that's really what it is. it's negating the distortion to our natural field that we are going through.
Okay.
So they do that really well, and they are pure tones. So as I said, the polyphonic tones of a Tibetan bowl you could pick out 5 notes maybe in it in one stripe.
Okay.
But the crystal bowls are almost exactly one tone.
So I know that you're a drummer too, so you do drumming. Do you ever incorporate your drumming into the bowls or any kind of sessions, or no?
Yes. Most of the time we like to have a little mini drum circle before the session, because it just officially severs the previous part of everyone's day to what we're about to go into. It's a good grounding exercise there. We do that a variety of ways. Sometimes we really just rock out, depending on the comfort of the room, or it's a call and response thing. But either way, it takes their attention off of everything but just that, and drowns out thoughts too, because it's nice and loud enough. So we have some fun, some laughs with that usually. And then once that's done, we go into our session with, and just to finish the intro, that I usually incorporate some one-size-fits-all stretches to get the body opened up and ready to meditate or sit still for that long through the session, even if you're laying down. It just creates more comfort. So some breath work is involved. I'm a big fan of Kundalini Yoga, so I incorporate everything that I believe is harmonious with the field, right, that we're working with. But ultimately, it gets to this point where I actually use rhythmic percussions on the bowls because I'm a drummer, and I really like composition. So the entertainment factor is the fact that I put it in kind of, if you want to call it a song, it's like my own song. Sure. And it's pretty fun. So it's something I haven't seen too often, because I'm kind of bold and okay to play risks, but I don't recommend anyone hit their bowls. If you get around one, don't, because they break and they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, they can add up pretty quick.
So I've trained a long time to say that I'm doing this, and if you're inspired, go for it. But it might come with a heavy price tag.
Yeah. So how many bowls are usually in a session? How many bowls do you work with?
I work with 11
11 bowls.
But I have many more bowls, but this is what I use regularly in their own need in what my practice. But the 7 main crystal bowls are based on the chakra system.
Okay.
So there is actually a tuning to the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown of your body. And you can feel it when I'm playing a single bowl in your body. And you can do combinations that actually target certain areas of your body. So if somebody has an implant or an ailment, I can actually do focus work tonally to reduce inflammation around an area, or even an implant or a joint pain or something. But the higher registry does tend to work with the mind. The ADHD or autistic type might have nervous tics that are all brain oriented. That feedback tends to be on the higher registry that operates in that area. Okay. But root is always key, because we want to kind of keep our whole body working together, so it's a good anchor for any of that upper work. But
so how are you different than the average bowls?
The average practitioner?
Practitioner, yeah. What makes you different? What stands you?
The quick and first and easy answer is they're not me. I'm already out there. I set myself over that one, didn't I? Okay, you're not you, yeah. But I mean, I create a lot of wild things all the time in my life. So this is just another one. But it's that I really, really, really have chosen to abandon almost all of my creative outlets to focus on doing this healing for people, because the actual results blow my mind. And anything that I can do to better what I'm doing for more people, I'm getting to the nursing homes and recovery centers and police stations and EMT. I've seen people out of this life by request. I've induced labor with this. Yeah. Everywhere in between, blind, deaf. I'm in communications with the School of the Blind right now, and there's specific practices I've developed for these targets, especially children. So anyways, the idea is that I can just like put all of kind of what I have as me into this, and with the passion that I have for what I've seen and what it can do, I just haven't seen anybody dive that deep yet. So you can tailor make
a specific session for whoever you're working with then.
Absolutely.
So it's not like one
we have a
size
large
fits all.
checklist of things that can
Very good.
cater to each individual. Now, like I said, the general public of one size fits all has been really well sculpted to where it's almost 100% guaranteed you're going to be profoundly wowed by the way you feel in just 1 hour, and it's free if you want.
Yeah.
And
so you do sessions like you do a presentation for, and there's a couple places you do this at, right?
Yeah, we're working with a few different venues. There's a partnership that I've been starting with the Stretch Lab in Dublin. That's very interesting because they've immediately realized how much further their clients go while the sound is part of their operation. So we're seeing a partnership in this, and also to be able to. There's other people too, like, we're testing this everywhere, like like chiropractors and things like this. Anything to open your body up and relax, even before big stressful gatherings. Like everybody gets put kind of on the same level, and it's way deeper than that. But this is really neat. So we're really exploring as much as possible. I'm just
yeah.
I mean it's I've performed. So that does go places. I do travel. I call them sanctuarias, and I've gone to people's homes. Iggy invited me to his home one time to do a session for his whole family, and
I fell asleep.
he did.
I felt bad. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to fall asleep or not, but hey, I went where I needed to be, right?
That's right. Well, there's nothing wrong with falling asleep. I do recommend that everybody try to let go if they can. It's, everybody's curious, but like if you can let go, you'll get the most out of it. And people get put into comas to heal because it puts you in the deepest state. So if you can get to Delta or beyond, it's gonna be extremely healing. So it'll be over in a second, but you're gonna feel a lot better.
I know. I was like watching the ceiling, and the next thing I know, I'm like, what happened? It's over. You stored a little bit, but hey, you're back.
Yep.
That's pretty
Once
cool.
you come back.
So, people come for many reasons, I'm sure, but there's probably a theme that people kind of have when they come to some session, because I know that a lot of folks don't necessarily go to everybody. But what is it you find usually when you're working with clients or people come to your sessions? Is there like a pattern that you're noticing, and how long do you want somebody to be able to go to your sessions? Do you want them to be able to go to 5, 10, or do you want to like kind of create this thing where it's like taking a shower, right?
Yeah. Well, everybody wants a good rolling business. It's nice to not have a foreseeable end, but the way I actually do structure it is when somebody's doing something clinically with me, I say, you got to start with the 3 sessions. The third time's a charm. That's when you get past all the initial, I don't know what's going on, and the curiosity. You start to learn more, and your body starts to get used to it, and that sort of thing. By the third time, something miraculous is very noticeable in every individual to know exactly why they're coming here. And then it doesn't matter if they come back or not. I mean, it does, but I don't really push anybody. I just say, well, thanks. I'm always grateful if they come around. So when they're actually trying to achieve a goal, though, there's a lot more back and forth. If there's it's not just a passerby, but it's somebody that actually wants to break an addiction or recover from a trauma or all kinds of anxiety disorders, then it's going to be like prescribed 3 sessions, and then we'll have a follow-up. And then that usually leads to some more of the one-on-one stuff, right?
Sure.
But these are just the general gatherings that I say at least 3 of those will change then we'll have more to like talk about specifically what I'm doing that they feel, and how I know the results of our experiences can give me confidence to guide them from there, and we can talk about whatever it would take. And that goes into so many other ways after that, when we get clinical, because it goes into diet, lifestyle, everything. We're really going to look at it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it is to cure them,
right.
Eventually. In any aspect, it could be like, hey, you're getting a better night's sleep, cured. You know what I mean? In that sense, it doesn't have to be like, major unclaimable things, but I've seen everything. I've seen things I should not have seen, and the more people are interested, the more we dive deep, and the more results we get. And it doesn't take long. It really doesn't. And when you go without it, then you realize how bad it is out there without a practice. So I also offer trainings, and I offer recommendations and resources so people can carry on this work in their own home with their own families. You don't have to keep hiring.
So you have like an academy almost.
Yeah, definitely can teach anybody whatever they want, and do it the right way. And of course, everybody's their own kind of student. But,
what's that look like? I mean,
well, I'm working on, as of today, I've been able to test 3 different subjects on a virtual version, because that's really difficult. Nothing I want to do has ever been online or anything as of yet, because with what I'm doing, it's very potent to be in the field of the actual vibrations. And I'm not just doing it for the beautiful sounds. You can get those on YouTube, and they're compressed, and that's not the work we're doing.
Okay.
Although I might just do that just to get out there,
kind of
show
So
up. But
what
it's
you're
never going to
saying-
be the experience that we're actually up to.
So what you're saying is that you can't feel the same benefit like if you were in the room.
There's benefits.
But it's not the same.
It will not
it's
be
like
the same.
You have a picture of your girlfriend.
If I could,
kissing your girlfriend, 2 different
if
things.
somebody put it this way, like, my heart's already in this like clinic. Like, I want to get you out of this situation in your health or wellness, and you are like even desperate because we got stage 4 cancer, people. We got all kinds of things.
Yeah.
You want that. I wouldn't even offer it to somebody that can't be in my in the presence of the field of these bowls, because I just don't believe that would even go there. I don't think that sending them a video is going to actually help them. It'll make them feel good and relax. It'd be like listening to a nice song, but that's not the work that we're actually claiming we're going to do. Yeah.
But there is possibilities that you could send somebody who's like very far away from you. Then you could send something.
Of course, I mean, you could always send. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm only hell bent on getting them in the field of it. So if I mean, anything's possible, right? Possibilitarianism. I can make sure that they get a kit, and somebody, we could train anybody to be in their field and do. In fact, we were designing some auto resonators to where I could actually program it, and you didn't even need me. It would play my actual presentation. Cool. I could do it remotely, or it could be a recording kind of thing that replays it. That was actually the original, full disclosure, idea of why we got the bowls, because we were going to turn it into that, but
things just
everything completely changed.
Things just changed. It's like life, right? You got to adjust and keep moving forward, right?
Yeah. So it isn't about that, but it is possible. Those things are possible and very close to do. But really, it's about getting you in the field, like getting the practice, making sure that this academy, as he said, would be able to teach enough people the heartfelt healing clinical way or whatever to do things instead of just the entertainment commodity. And that more people would be doing it the right way, so to speak, to where this is just available to you everywhere you are. If we're just on the front planting the seeds, then let's go. We got a lot of people that could see what can really be done. It's brand new. But again, I've been doing this 3 years, and I'm just trying to cross that line where people still don't know what a sound bath is. Do I have to take off my clothes?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, Christina Lane says, I got some stage 4 cancer clients actually that could benefit from twice the healing because they don't have the luxury. Probably, I can't see everything, but to travel. But
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah,
I definitely want to travel to them and get everybody gets this. Every walk of life, plants benefit from this. You've heard the stories about playing classical music for plants. Well, this is definitely helpful. I can tell you some wild stories. I'll tell you at least one about animals. And so I get called out to a couple farms to do sound baths before meat birds are processed. So in this case, it was turkeys, ducks, chickens, right? Chickens, ducks, turkeys, quail, and I thought there was one more, but I can't think of another bird at the moment anyway. The turkeys were like... they're bird brained, right? When you walk up to a chicken, they just go and run away. But in 10 minutes, they could come on like a dog and cuddle you. I got 5 turkeys just in my arms, and I'm cuddling them, and they're looking at you. And I'm not messing around. This is wild because they change. They change visually, and they purr, and they just want to hang out with you all the time after that. They'll watch planes go by after that. But the chickens and the ducks... Now, you've all heard about the chicken with their head cut off, and it's like really frantic, nervous, stiff afterward. It's not pretty, especially as somebody that doesn't eat animals. But to be there and actually do this work and watch them all cuddle where they don't get along and they're snuggling, and they come out one at a time, and when they're processed, there's no reaction like that. That energy doesn't go into the meat. I know that's amazing.
It's like
amazing.
blessing your food, right?
That's right. I mean, it's like really making the best of it, and it's like sacred because it's really intentional. And you know, and the farms that I've had the privilege of working with are really detail oriented too. We like to connect people on their talents, passion, trades, and interests. So that's another benefit, by the way, of having people weekly. We've been able to create communities based on passions, trades, and interests. So we kept monthly gatherings like bonfire potluck parties and family gatherings that allowed everybody just to get to know each other. And we can keep off screens and have a real word of mouth network that's better than paying for ads and all this restrictions online. And this is real world truth, real people and who you know in your world doing whatever it is that you're looking for. And to be able to connect people on those levels is just been a huge blessing. So when I see these farms that are doing it right, they're raising their animals right. You want to know where to get that meat. You want to know where to get those eggs. And then to know that like they're loved like a loved one in the family the entire time they exist. And then there's these other technologies that I see people bring in, and we really bring in as many that, like I said before, that resonate with the modalities. But they'll use those technologies to purify the water, even for these meat birds and stuff like that. And it's like, do you even use your purified water to feed your dog? Or do you just give your dog tap water? I know a lot of people that drink purified, but feed their dog tap water. They really want their farm animals to get the best stuff. So this is another passion of all of it, is to truly, for the first time in my life, learn about community like that. And really just see people come together, and everybody's really wanting to come together. It really is a universal love out there. We've only seen good out of all of it because we all want the same thing. We all just want to connect without the preferences and judgments and stuff. Just have a good time together and eat food. And that always worked. So
if you guys have any questions, just put them on here on the chat in the live stream. If you have questions for Jeremy about his work and the things he does, or just share with us what's on your mind as well. So we're here live on Iggy Garcia Live, episode 206. I'm with Jeremy Felder, a good buddy of mine here, and we're talking about his passion, his work, and those are his singing bowls and the things that he does. They kind of lead into other things that he does as we're progressing down through the show here. We're learning more about, you know, his passions and his vision and stuff. So if there's something that you like and something you heard, I'm sure they can get hold of you on Facebook too, right? Yeah,
Facebook at Safe and Sound Wellness. You can see all the events we post and partners that we're developing stuff with. We do 9D guided meditations and breath work, and there's just all kinds of cool people like with really powerful things going on that work so well hand in hand with. So we're going to be doing some Healer events coming up. We have some retreats that we're putting together and different things just to share that.
Ooh, what's that?
Healer.
Is that a secret?
Healer.
I think it's a secret.
Yeah, I got one. And then there's going to be a development, obviously, in the warmer months for our monthly gatherings are going to be like markets. You know, bring your love. What do? You make bracelets, you make paintings, whatever. Just come and share with the community, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Will you be at any expos or anything?
Thanks for reminding me. I will be doing. We'll be doing, I guess, the intro and outro ceremonies for the Gift of Light Expo, March 8th, is it? And 8th, 9th, something like that. And then there's at the convention or the Ohio Expo Center. Okay. And I'll have a booth there, and I'll be doing sound session each day in a private room that I can control the lighting.
That's cool.
We'll have a lot of our other modalities involved with the booth. We'll have the Beamer system, which is a bioelectric medical energy regulation device, which is class 2 medical, approved for fast recovery and all that. So we lay that on our Reiki table for my friend Kristen to come and manually stretch you. So it's assisted stretching. You just lay there. They do the stretching for you.
That's pretty cool.
While you're getting beamed, so to speak, so your vascular system's up and at it, and all your circulatory system or your capillaries and everything are rocking for the next 12 hours in 8 minutes.
That's awesome. So on Tuesdays, you're where?
Tuesdays, I am at the Center of Healing Arts in Clintonville on Indianola. It's 4499. 4499 Indianola. Every Tuesday at 6:45 is my unconditional Tuesdays. And you can come see what we're doing.
Yeah, so if you want to get a glimpse or a taste or just kind of get the full effects of what he's been talking about, what we've been sharing about, you know, the Beamer, the bowls, just picking Jeremy's brain about what he wants to do and where he wants to take and push this this beautiful work that he does. Come on Tuesdays. Then on Wednesdays, are you over at the Stretch House?
We're done doing that for a minute. We're going to regroup on some bigger ideas with the same thing.
So just Tuesday nights.
But just Tuesdays as of now. Last Wednesday was we put it on pause, but it was awesome. Yeah, man, I love that. You
gotta come early because it fills up. So that's one of the things you gotta really take into account.
6:30 is a good time to show up to get to know everybody before. But 7 o'clock, you don't want to be later than 7.
Yeah, because then you won't be able to lay on the floor. Yeah, you'll be sitting in a chair.
Something like that.
So if you like it, that's cool. But there's something about being in that room, just laying on the ground, going,
"Oh, I know."
Just let your body go.
Well, it's cool because we leave the afterglow. I don't put an end time on it usually, because we casually like to just let everybody just experience the room and take on that experience for themselves on their own, or stay and enjoy the space. Yeah. And it's nice to connect with a few people afterward. No rushes.
Yeah. So it's funny because sound is so powerful, and sound is all around us every single moment, every single day. And when has kind of, I don't want to say controlled aspect to it, or just a loved aspect to it like you do. But, earlier today we were messing around with my app that I have about creating music.
Oh, man.
And, in theory, everything's good, right?
I thought I could find something. I'm going to be honest. This is kind of harsh. I'm going to admit it. I didn't like it.
It was called Donna AI. Horrible, terrible. I'm sorry.
It's like an amateur child wants to do a professional musical with the cheesiest version of any genre you can think of. Yeah. It was beyond bad. I could not do I actually told myself, if my son, who I adore in everything that he's ever up to and is so brilliant, if he did this and produced this and tried to surprise me with this, I might have cried.
and the only reason I bring it up, guys, is because
it's AI.
Music, when we listen to music, it takes us someplace. It takes our spirit, our soul, our body, our energy, goes with that. It picks up on that frequency and those sounds and those sounds that you don't hear. Sometimes things are just put in there in a certain way that the body feels it, but your ears don't necessarily pick up on it. It's a subliminal type of feeling or emotion. But the bowls are kind of very isolated and very to the point,
very intentional,
very intentional to it, and it's even different in drum circle because drum circles are more cathartic, and the energy is different. I mean, you get something out of it, but they're a completely different vibe. That's one thing that when I do my drum circles,
they go hand in hand. Yeah, but one should just be after the other.
Yeah. So I always tell people, like, if some folks who can't handle the drumming because it's kind of loud or it's just too much, I tell them about your bowls because I find it that it's more gentle. Some people need that gentle caress, that touch.
Yeah. It's really opposite ends of a spectrum. I mean, I'm all about thunderous gladiator cathartic drums, man. There's nothing more primal and tribal than that. And yeah, I get there. But
he's a good drummer.
But that is what I toured in. So like then over here, it's just the release of all that energy. Instead of channeling all that energy, it's the release of all that energy. Yeah. And you really just feel free. I will say that what I call my Tuesdays is the eye of all storms. It's very important because we all know that the eye of a storm is the most peaceful part of it. It's almost the sun comes through for a second, there's hope, and then you got to go through it again, right? But the eye of all storms is simply being able to see that you are the one in the center. You're the only I am in your universe, right? And I like to give my higher self and God a little bit more credit than me. So you want to get out of the way of the great I am, right? Mm-hmm. So we focus outward. Well, in quantum reality, we are always collapsing reality by observing it. So that is our attention. Our attention's our reality, and that's the debris field. That's the stuff around that storm, right? So when we're in this session every Tuesday, it's easy to ground ourselves in that visualization that all of that debris of your life, all the things not true and not you that were just stories layered on or suggestions that maybe you subscribe to, that you're allowed to unsubscribe. You're allowed to unsubscribe from that boot from your 8-year-old self that kicks you in the head every time it goes around your storm. Yeah. It's just being able to come to the center where none of that matters. Your name's not even you, just layers. Yeah. Can be outside the room for 1 hour, and then when you come to together, you just see this different way of viewing everything. Clarity for your own stuff. What might you unsubscribe from? The people in front of you that you just see differently now. Everybody's going through the same thing. And it's really deep and it's really profound, and it allows people to let go and even rest for the first time in forever. How many people sleep with no lights on? How many of you can actually keep your electronics out of your bedroom at night? Like, are you allowing your body to even rest? This is one of those things where not only we're showing you that yourself, we're showing you yourself, but we're offering that rest for real that you can't deny. I don't even have to say a thing. You see it, you feel it, you are it, and that's profound.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I appreciate that's a nice way to think of it, like the quiet of the storm. You know, you're in the middle. I never thought about it like that until you just mentioned that. So we're going to be doing a collaboration at the expo, which we're not going to tell you too much about it because you're going to have to come and watch it because it's going to be pretty badass. We're going to be like, shh. Yep, you know, you're just going to have to come.
Yeah, you got
to check it out because
we're up to stuff.
Because what we're doing is kind of crazy. And actually, we got a show coming up. We're actually going to be doing a new show. Jeremy and I are going to do a new show together.
We're just playing for y'all. We're just acting like we're nervous and we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
No, this is just going to get
polished. What's the name of our show?
Oh, man. How about 5'3" with a dream?
Yeah, 5 feet. Two short guys, right?
I don't know if anybody even knows
5'3" in a dream.
I've been told lately that I don't look so much like my Facebook. I don't know. I think I do.
I think he's just maybe an inch taller.
Yeah, right.
When he's wearing shoes.
So I think somebody thought I was like 6 feet tall. And they showed up and I'm like,
we just
5'3".
we just play big.
Like, what?
No, but we're gonna do
Prince
a show.
was 5'3".
We're gonna do a show. We're gonna be doing like we haven't decided if it's gonna be weekly or bi-weekly yet. Yeah. But we're gonna do a show where we just talk about stuff. Yeah. All holistic, metaphysical, whatever. We're going to talk about stuff.
We'll bend your brain.
Yeah, we'll go real deep.
We'll see what you made of.
So, apart from Iggy Garcia Live, we're going to have this other show on With Insights Radio, which is going to be coming up soon. So, if you like the kind of things you're seeing and the things we're talking about, you're going to get really stoked about because we're going to go really, really deep down the rabbit hole.
We have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, and we're working together, and we find out that we're a lot alike, but we're really different too at the same time, which is kind of cool. And we like it that way, you know.
Well, of course.
You know, because
it's like two sides of a coin.
That's right. Kinda. Yeah, half the coin, right?
Mm-hmm. You stay on your half.
Yeah, that's right. That's my half. You stay over there. But I'm glad that you came today and shared with us the things that you're doing, because I've seen a lot of your growth. I've seen a lot of stuff that you've done. And I know that I've helped and worked with you on certain things because you've asked me to help you. Yeah. I hope that what I'm sharing with you
helps. Good guy to mentor with. This guy.
Yeah.
He's got some experience.
But I've seen his, development in the growth. And I don't take that wrong because, we all come from different places and where we're at in our lives. But he is a unifier of people. And I love that because I can kind of consider myself that way too, where we bring the community together and we bring like-minded people and people who have never been in anything like this. Yeah. And, that's important, especially in the world we live in today. The world we live in today is very complicated, but it's always been complicated. Mm-hmm. It's always been complicated. Everything has every lifestyle, every life, every moment has been complicated.
This is the now version of then, really.
Yes, that is correct. That's true because, sometimes we think everything that's happening is isolated to us. It is, because we're in the moment and we're witnessing it.
Well, I think more things are battling for our attention than the other things.
Yeah.
I mean, before you have things of your attention, but about your livelihood and what matters most. We're being taken from what matters most to us to be paying attention to things that literally don't mean anything. Yeah. and the days are flying by, aren't they?
Yeah. This is true. This is very true. I'm 58 now, and I'm thinking to myself, I remember when I just got married, I still remember those days, and it's like, it just goes by so quick, and I've lost so many friends, and, I remember when COVID came and how sick I got and everything that just happened. It's just like, ooh, where did the time go?
Yeah, that was a long time ago now.
It's like, that's almost like 5 years ago, right? Almost. I'm just like, it just kind of leaves you thinking. And so I've gone on this mission to create more and be more abundant and to create more love and more community and just find like-minded people like yourself, and work with you and collaborate with you because I find when you do it together, you can accomplish a lot.
That's right.
When you try to do it by yourself, you're on an island, right? Like say, no man is an island. So
that
find
was a good one.
Yeah.
I was a loner for a long time. I was a solopreneur, so I can feel that.
Yeah, and the same here. But the cool thing about it is that, even though you may find like-minded people to work with, it doesn't mean you're attached to them to the hip. You come, you go, you ebb and flow. It's like the river, right?
Yeah.
You're still part of the river. You're flowing. Some of the river's going fast.
I like to think about Mr. Rogers. When he was around his town.
Yeah.
Like that's why I actually spend time with my kids. I take them out to meet these great people and what they're up to in their shops and how they do certain things. Like, well, Mr. So-and-so, how are you doing today? What are you doing? What are you up to? What are some of your projects? Hey, kids, look at this. And how's this made? But the idea is that the community itself is always like that. So why don't we just continue to visit and play with each other around and see what we can create? Because two industries come together and you make a third. That's what's always fascinating for me. True. Is like I love playing chemistry with industries.
That's very true. But I'm glad that you're doing your bowls the way you're doing it, because a lot of times people don't go to other people to see bowls because they're like, oh, I've been to that.
Sure, that definitely is. That's something I've had to deal with in a lot of ways that strike personal heart to me. Because, like, for example, I'll use one example. I really went all in focusing on. I was building these beautiful canvas frames, and I was stretching canvas prints and any art, whatever, over them. And I was focusing on that business. I was really into that, and I was going head to head with embossed canvas style cardboard folded back with box tape and sold for the same price, and I couldn't sell over that. They were winning, and I'm like, I wanted to give up. I'm like,
right.
People want cheap. They don't even understand quality anymore.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of for me been a reoccurring theme of like, oh man, I bent neon, as I mentioned earlier, and now they have all this LED rope lighting that they replace neon with, and that's not the same as gas and glass, like real classy stuff.
Yeah.
So that was another example of like, oh man, they don't understand what they're getting. So that's kind of in a secret how I feel about sound therapy, because when they're seeing the trends of sound baths out there, there's nothing wrong with any of them. I want you to know, like, anyone can pick up a guitar and I encourage them to. But you might have a kid punking it out in the garage, and you might have a flamenco to anything on stage in front of millions. It's completely up to the artist to do what they do. That is encouraged anyway, right?
Yeah.
Don't claim to be a healer if you're not. If you're not, be intentional is all I really ask. But when I'm doing the sound bowls, I definitely am not compared to anyone. That's the feedback I get. I can guarantee it's unique. I can guarantee you won't find it online. I can guarantee what I do is its own evolutionary path, like an octopus to a bird. So give it a shot for anyone's sake. That there ain't no two alike unless they're really trying to copy each other, right?
There you go.
That's about the truth.
Even if you do copy it, it's still not alike.
Well, it couldn't.
It may look like it, but it's not.
Yeah, right. So yeah, everybody's got their fingerprint on it. Yeah. Maybe we'll just keep it that way.
Yeah. And this is the same way with drumming too, I do mine.
But I can obsess over helping people heal themselves.
All healing is self-healing, don't forget.
That's right. So
when you're open to heal and you're ready to heal,
sometimes you just got to forget you're sick.
Yeah, it all starts in the mind.
Yeah.
That's it just translates from there and moves around. That's what I do when I coach my kids. When I coach soccer, I always tell them, where's the game begin? In your head, in your mind. Like, that's right, because the cans and do's and don'ts start there.
That's right. And I've always believed that the universe can't hear the reversal words, like can't, isn't, doesn't, wasn't. And we used to teach our kids, like, the whole don't fall. Stay stable.
Yeah.
Because all your words are true, okay? If you pay attention to what you're paying attention to and be intentional and not at odds with yourself by way that you speak, you'll find that the universe only says yes. Yeah to that. Sounds good.
Yeah. And Christine says our divine responsibility as parents is to expose them to as much enrichment as we possibly can. Yeah, that's a great point.
I agree.
It's a great point.
Absolutely. And they're their own people.
Sure.
They're always their own people. But
sometimes parents forget that.
I know that. But and they learn the hard way. But they are their own people, and we have the honor and gift to be able to guide them into themselves. The best, like I always say, what's the most of you look like? Let them ask what's the most of them look like, because they're their own I am in their universe, right? But it's to just cause no harm, try not to put yourself on them, and allow them to blossom into whatever. But by doing that, in my mind, and what's worked for me is options. Having options creates freedom, because if you can think as a possibilitarian, you're never trapped, you're never stuck, you're never bored. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So being able to offer perspective where they can see their own options and they don't have to depend so much, is at least it's been fruitful in a lesson, at the very least.
Yeah, one of my teachers used to tell me, he goes, "Oh, our kids are on loan to us."
Yeah.
So, when they're on loan to us, that means we only get them for a short time.
You only do get them for a short time.
And, then, by 8, they're already adulting. They already kind of know how to parent themselves. So all the other stuff is extras if we teach them properly. So if you have a good foundation, it's just important. So they're on loan to us. It's one of those things I had to think about when I first heard that. That our kids are only on loan to us. And, once they run off and get married, they have their own lives. They, they're doing their own thing. They love you. Don't get me wrong. It's not that they don't love you. They don't care about you. Like you said earlier, they're their own people.
But do they see the vastness of life around them as they become
that's what we hope,
locked
right?
down into their world?
That's what we hope.
We hope
that's what our hope is as parents.
That's the experiences. So they don't think it's one way and then find out accidentally later that it's another, that they have experience to know there's a spectrum that they'll be able to choose their free will into. Anyway, that's kind of an approach I have.
And then they'll have their own experience, right?
They always do.
Regardless of what.
Well, it's their
even if you tell them,
it's their finding their way.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to pick those paths.
I used to be a drummer, and I did this, and I did that, They're like, okay, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, in my case.
That was your tour.
Doing drums, and my kids, that's the last thing they want to play is drums.
Yeah. I was in a Macedonian band as a kid, 15-year-old kid, playing drums and clarinets and stuff at my dad's restaurant, It's kind of funny, the parallels are different.
Do your kids play drums?
My son, my one son does.
Okay, all right.
But it's just funny that, you were traveling the world, and I was playing in a band, while they were building a Macedonian church, and I was filling in for people who were deported or sick. And that's how I learned to play drums.
Wow.
That's how I learned to play the darbuka, the doumbek. That was my first drum. And then the kit drum, of course, came after that.
That's awesome.
So that's my little story about me.
That's a good story.
Yeah. And I got the belly dancers were all there too in the restaurant.
I've never seen belly dancers in a restaurant.
Juergas or in Spanish, where they kind of get together on the weekends. In Spain they call them juergas. It was like weekend party, and they would play their flamenco guitars, and the flamenco dancers would be there. And I was right there with them. And it's just funny. I didn't have to travel because the world came to us, so it was kind of cool. Garcia's International was my dad's place, so it was one of those cool things.
So did you have quite a wide variety of people that showed up?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, that's always nice.
Yeah, it was an interesting ride. 40 years in that building. And all the people I met. I always tell people I grew up in a bar and a restaurant.
When did you close that?
Oh, just after my dad died in 2019.
Oh, it wasn't long ago.
So it's just you gain experiences from where you're at.
Yeah.
And the world teaches you, and then you create your thoughts and patterns according to what you have been exposed to. That's one of those things that I find it's really neat about listening to other people's stories. Like listening to your story today is very fascinating because it's different than my story, but yet we're here.
We're here.
We're here. And,
we're crossing our paths.
Yeah, we're crossing paths. We're in a crossroads for maybe a moment in time, maybe forever. But regardless, we're here. That doesn't matter how long it lasts. We're here. We're here in this moment.
I always think for a reason too. Sometimes.
Well, there's a reason.
Sometimes
sometimes it doesn't show, right?
I like to open up the ideas of how many things do you notice in your now? Like you couldn't possibly notice everything in your now, even though you're only now. But it's like when we come into, say, like a restaurant, like Piata sometimes, whatever, something fast in and out, Chipotle. But you have all these walks of life that are inside the building, and it's like they could be on any wavelength at all. Yeah. And you all came to this place. There's some kind of harmonic resonance to that. Yeah, it may be as primal as I'm hungry and this is close. But you're all there.
I'm always hungry.
And if we opened a door, any door, that like all of those people are essentially doors you could open by just saying hi or connecting or any way that you throw up a spark of intention toward them and acknowledge them. Any of that can change the world, completely change the world. But we so pass it by just all the time. And, because we're focused on what we want to trust and stay on the path of. And there's so many spontaneous opportunities to allow the divine, really, to show up if we let go a little bit and start exploring the now. And it's a little deep, but it's definitely something I was thinking about.
Well, like energies attract.
Well, all these people.
So there's some energy that attracts us. It's familiar. That's why we find each other. We find each other. People find each other through the world. We may never meet anybody who lives in Japan. But they may come from Japan and meet us. Vice versa. It's just amazing how the thin threads there are between meeting people and not meeting people.
Well, I say everybody has their own fingerprint, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you doing with yours?
Yeah.
You get one fingerprint. What's the most you look like?
Yeah.
And you don't get the privilege to know. You have your eyes and your perspective. What he's got is going to be his own. And the world is really just kind of arguing, like this iPad here. We're all arguing over looking at the same things on this planet. But if we listen to each other, he'd learn about the screen on this side, And we think we know, but we don't. We never could. So the people in China that you may not meet are just literally like the fish when you're the birds. Yeah. And you're in a puzzle piece, and how many puzzles are awesome when you're missing a piece? Probably none.
Yeah.
Every piece matters, so every person on this world matters. They have to cover all the fingerprints. And that's kind of a way you can at least start to look at people with compassion and care, that everyone's their version of you, talking about their version of you.
So true.
And we're all our own roller coasters. The highest height, steepest hill, darkest tunnel. We don't compare to each other because we couldn't handle that. I'm not used to barrel rolls, right? It's just like, but we all have something that we can call our most. Yeah. And that's what we're working with,
Yeah, see, he doesn't get chubby because I'm already chubby. So
I can get chubby. I'm really going through the withdrawals of pizza. But I got to stop that.
It's funny, though. So, as we're getting closer to ending here, I just wanted to say, what would you like to leave with our listeners? What is it that you want to share with them about the work you do, or just anything in general? I just
really, really, really am on a mission. I'm on a mission under God to connect people and show them division's not the answer. We're not dividing. This is all a game now, and it's a war. And it's a war for your attention. Your reality is your attention. And what are you putting your attention to? You pay attention to what you're paying attention to. And just love each other like their own puzzle piece and just let it go. Just find your tribe or the people around you, but be more of neutral to the outside influences, because they're merely suggestions for your attention. And you can let them go without applying any energy to it if you choose to. So it's just a matter of what matters most to you, and God knows I have a very distance between me and what matters most to me in my life in a lot of ways, but our actions will get us closer to everything that matters most. So it's a daily now,
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you.
And sharing your thoughts and your vision and your love and compassion and your passion for what you do for the world and what we're looking forward to see develop in the future.
You too,
because I'm excited.
Cool stuff going on.
But this you're my guest this time.
Oh, yeah.
But I appreciate that too. But I like I said, I'm excited to see what you do next, where you're going to go next, because
me too.
Sometimes we don't know where we're going.
We got a good team right now. We're on fire,
and that's important. That's important. Good. So, Jeremy, I want to thank you for being on my show and being with me, and doing this episode with me and taking time to come on here.
I calmed down, but I'm still nervous.
You'll get over that.
I know. I'm new to the videos, but I'm getting there. Thank you.
So I want to thank everybody you're welcome. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and being here with me and Jeremy today and listening to a little bit of his story. We shared a little bit because we also want you to search him out a little bit and get to know him for who he is. We don't want to give it all away, right? Because that's no fun. Then you can create your own ideas about what he's doing and sharing. So on Tuesdays, he's up at the Indianola.
Indianola 4499 Indianola.
Okay.
The Center of Healing Arts on Tuesdays
So
at
come.
6:45.
Come to that, check it out. I highly recommend you go at least once, try it, you know, and, you know.
You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
It'll be beautiful. But tomorrow I'll be at the Unitarian Church in Powell. You go to my Facebook page and check out the event page. That'll be at 1 o'clock, 1:30, I believe. 1:30. Just double check. I forgot. But anyhow, we're going to be drumming. If you want more information about my drumming, go to iggygarcia.com. There's a list there of all the drum circles that I'm doing. And,
you don't even have to know how to drum.
Yeah, you don't have to be a drummer. You just come and just have
It's
fun.
an awesome thing to witness, too.
Just come and dance and just have a good time. It's going to be a fantastic, fantastic spring and summer and fall. The rest of the year is just beautiful. You pull out and you get what you want in this world. The world, yeah, it's moving, it's rolling. But you will find the pieces and parts that will resonate with you and connect with that. Connect with the people that connect with you. So many times we wait and we hang on to people that don't want to go anywhere, don't want to move. Be the example. Jump out of bed and get rolling, get moving. You want to exercise, your spouse or significant others want to exercise. You jump out of bed and you exercise. I guarantee you when you start looking nice and fit and trim, they're going to jump right out of bed. All right? So just be the best version of yourself, okay? I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Be well. I love that. Someone sent some nice flash. I don't know who that was, but that was beautiful. I love it. But if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. And like I always said, I say ho'oponopono, matakuyasin. It's good to be here. It's good to be here, man.
It's great to be
That's
here.
right.
It's good to be here for sure.
That's right. You got to remember that. We open up that universe and we're excited and we're ready to roll. So every day, it's the now. But when you turn those words around, we've won.
Ooh.
We're in the moment. So remember, just be the best version of
It's
yourself.
the already not yet.
That's right. All right. Take care, guys. Be well. I will see you next time. I will see you before the end of the month. But if you want to catch some of my tunes, I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm all over where social media is free.
Just don't look up his music just yet.
Yeah. My AI music song career has not launched very well yet. Maybe in the future.
It's cultivating.
All right. Take care, guys. Be well, and I will see you soon. And we'll see you next time on Iggy Garcia Live.